Federal government ban graduation ceremonies for pre-primary 6 students.
Okay, yeah, this is Anyamele Kelechi Bakopsi from Teach Edu Consult, and today I want to enlighten parents, school owners, teachers, and other education stakeholders, and even the general public on a very important press release issued by the Federal Ministry of Education on the 9th of January 2026.
Graduation ceremonies have also been streamlined, with only pupils and students completing Primary 6, JSS 3, and SSS 3 permitted to hold such ceremonies.
Now, this policy is focused on reducing the cost of education, improving learning outcome, and promoting sustainability in Nigerian schools. Because if we look at what is happening in our system today, there are so many ups and downs, so many watered down quality of education. So I would like you to watch to the end because this policy will affect schools, it will affect parents, and also instructional materials nationwide. So if we look at this, according to the press release jointly issued by Honorable Minister of Education in the person of Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa and the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Swaib Said, right? Yeah. The federal government is introducing reforms to reduce the financial burden on parents while at the same time improving the quality of our education system. And for me, of Teach Edu Consult, this is one of the dreams, talking about quality education across every learner who is opportune to experience formal education. So let's take it one after the other. I think the first one is reusable textbook policy. One of the major highlights of this press release is the reusable textbook policy. And under this policy, schools are now required to use standardized durable textbooks. So I want you to understand this in details because this policy will allow textbooks to be reused across multiple academic sessions. We talked about 4 to 6 years. So this thereby enables siblings to share textbooks, and this will significantly reduce the cost of education for parents, even reduce paper waste, and also promote environmental sustainability. So in other words, what this means is that the workbooks can be bought yearly because you're going to use it, but for the textbooks, it will continue to be in circulation at least for that particular family for 4 to 6 years. Now, the next policy is on uniform academic calendar. Now, the federal government has also introduced what we call uniform academic calendar nationwide. This is actually to promote consistency in teaching, in learning, and also school planning across the country. With this, it means that schools, parents, education planners can better coordinate academic activities without unnecessary confusion. When is the right time to resume? When are we supposed to have midterm break? When are we supposed to write exams? When all these confusions will be taken care of by this singular uniform academic calendar policy. And the biggest of them all, talking about streamlining graduation ceremonies. Now, for many persons, the biggest of the policy is streamlined graduation ceremonies. And this is where we say federal governments have banned graduation ceremonies. And we're talking about pre-primary learners. So what this means is that going forward, graduation ceremonies are permitted only for learners completing primary 6, junior secondary school 3, and senior secondary school 3, talking about primary and secondary education. Of course, we have the tertiary and different dimensions. So this move is aimed at reducing the financial pressure placed on parents through frequent and costly ceremonies, all for just one singular day. So I just feel I need to talk more on quality assurance and textbook approval because the federal government also touch light more on this aspect, and it says that the policy also strengthens the assessment, selection, and quality assurance of instructional materials. So you don't just go to the market and pick any book of your choice. So the government is addressing the issue of cosmetic textbook revisions. You see books that are slightly changed in appearance, but no content change. And this forces parents to buy new ones annually, which is no longer going to be tolerated. So under this new framework, textbook revisions must show substantive content improvement. And the number of approved textbooks per subject will also be checked. And also the grade will also be limited. And this is to ensure that we have international best practices in our education. And this is what I always, promote under Co-Teach Edu Consult when we talk about global citizenship education. We are now in a global system whereby you can work anywhere in the world. And if our education standard is not seen to be standardized, we'll continue to play second citizens of the world. And that is not what we want. And someone was asking the role of NERDC. And for you, if you don't know what NERDC means, it means the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council. And they have a very important role to play because they need to continue to lead textbook quality assurance, ensuring that all approved instructional materials meet required international standards. Because if we have standard textbooks, the stakeholders in the aspect of teachers and school owners and directors and HODs will have no choice but to align. For parents, this policy means lower costs and less pressure. And then for schools, it means better planning and compliance with national standards, which is very, very important. And for teachers, it ensures stable and consistent instructional materials. So you can't tell me you don't know what to use, okay? And then for publishers, it demands quality, not just cosmetic changes that doesn't, yield anything. Okay, so in conclusion, the Federal Ministry of Education has reaffirmed its commitment to education reform, equity, affordability, and access to high quality instructional materials across the country. So for us at Ketutu to Consult, we want to encourage you to continue to align with this and inform all education stakeholders. You can share this video so that they can see more on this and understand the policy because this aligns with what we actually want. Sometimes we don't even know what we want, but this policy will help us. So whether you're a parent, you're a guardian, you're a school owner, you're an educator, even for the non-academic staff, they need to be aware of these policies so that they can continue to disseminate the information and let's get it right and get us to be on the global stage.
Federal government ban graduation ceremonies for pre-primary 6 students. Press release, Federal Ministry of Education, 9th January 2026. Federal government moves to cut education costs, promote sustainability with reusable textbook policy. The federal government of Nigeria has unveiled a comprehensive policy framework to reduce the cost of education for parents, improve learning outcomes, and promote sustainability in schools through the adoption of reusable, high-quality textbooks and strengthen quality assurance mechanisms. The policy, jointly issued by the Honorable Minister of Education, Dr. Maruf Tunji Alausa, and the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Professor Swaiba Said, is part of ongoing reforms to reposition Nigeria's education sector and ease financial pressure on families. The ministers explained that the policy prioritizes standardized, durable textbooks designed to last 4 to 6 years and expressly prohibits the bundling of disposable workbooks with textbooks. This will allow textbooks to be reused across multiple academic sessions, enabling siblings to share learning materials, significantly lower recurring costs for parents, and reduce waste, thereby supporting environmental sustainability. They further noted that the federal government has introduced a uniform academic calendar to promote consistency in teaching, learning, and school planning nationwide. Graduation ceremonies have also been streamlined, with only pupils and students completing Primary 6, JSS 3, and SSS 3 permitted to hold such ceremonies. The policy strengthens the assessment, selection, and quality assurance of instructional materials, addressing concerns over frequent cosmetic textbook revisions and practices that compel parents to purchase new textbooks annually without improved content. Structured revision cycles now require substantive content improvements, while limits on the number of approved textbooks per subject and grade align with international best practices. The Nigerian National Research and Development Council (NERDC) will continue to lead textbook quality assurance. The Federal Ministry of Education reaffirmed its commitment to education reform, quality, and access to high-quality instructional materials nationwide. Boriowo Folasade, Director, Press and Public Relations.